Well, good morning, Internet and Slim Science seekers. In this talk, I'm going to talk about the economics of Slim Science. This is a really fun and very recent article which helps to really identify what all the jazz around money and medications might be. Why might that be important? So you can see here it came out in Reuters Health Information with the authors Richa Naidu and David Randall, October 24th, 2023. And I'm actually looking here at Medscape. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about an article that is just so fun and so interesting and tells you just how complex the whole thing around weight loss is, that maybe not everybody is cheering for that chubby to lose weight. So this came from Medscape. This is where I saw it but you can see it came originally from Reuters Health Information. So anti-obesity drugs can be a boost for food makers, investors say. Investors. So this is really interesting because it makes me wonder if investors are going to be unbiased. But let's jump in and take a look at what they say. So this came out of London, New York, Reuters. The growth in demand for appetite-suppressing drugs. So this is an important point. It's appetite-suppressing anti-obesity drugs like Wegovy. So the GLP-1, those types of drugs. So the appetite-suppressing drugs. They're saying, let's spin this, not spin, what am I saying? I'm sorry, I didn't mean spin. Presents the opportunity for food manufacturers and the market's initial downbeat reaction may be overdone. Don't panic. This is not a big deal. This happened when Walmart said this month that it saw a slight pullback in food consumption when people took the medication. So somehow Walmart was able to correlate the food consumption with the medication. And we don't know how that's done, but Walmart certainly would know. It sparked a sell-off in the shares of companies, including Nestle's. So not just Walmart, where the downtick in food came apparently, according to this article, but Nestle's, who packages those food, also saw something going on in the market. The Aviva portfolio manager, Richard Saldana, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, said, I think it's an overreaction. Pshaw. No, it's not important. No biggie. Just move along. Wegovy has, and here's just a brief statement about Wegovy and its phenomenal success in the United States. It's being rolled out in European markets, Norway, Denmark, and Germany. And this is prompting concerns that maybe this phenomenon is not going to be just in the United States. Now, what I would say, though, to the portfolio managers, because the U.S. has such a large proportion of overweight and obese individuals, I'm from the U.S., we might see a bigger impact, say, than in a country where they, don't have that level of obesity. So what we see here from Kieran Aziz, again, sorry if saying that wrong, head of responsible investment at Norway's biggest pension fund, KLP, which holds stakeholders, not food stakes, but stakeholders in Novo Nordisk and food companies. He said, this could definitely lead to major changes both for food and beverage companies. Okay, so he's saying it might be, She added, however, that more focus should be paid at the supermarkets. So she believes that the biggest impact will be at the supermarkets because of thinner profit margins. Nestle has already started working on a companion weight loss products that can be companions to weight loss drugs, said Mark Schneider. And they could include things like supplements to help compensate for the, quote, loss of lean muscle mass and, quote, regain of weight. So I found this really interesting because a great deal is being made of Wegovy's, relapse that patients will regain weight. And I think pretty much throughout the weight loss world, that's the mantra. No matter what mechanism you take to lose weight, you gain it back. We don't know about Wegovy, hoping that Wegovy is the exception to the rule. But what they're saying is, we're going to have this weight loss companion, but here's the other side of this yo-yo dieting. If indeed individuals do gain weight with Wegovy and then start taking it again and going down again, this could be a very interesting market, much to be decided on exactly the mechanism. Also with respect to the loss of lean muscle mass, while certainly that has been reported, as long as I can remember, I have seen the loss of lean muscle mass pretty much regardless of what diet you're on. And in the science and research portion of Slim Science for You, this channel, I'm going to be reviewing publications that actually compare those. But let's move on. That's for a different tact day. These initiatives and the limited availability of the drug as Novo struggles to keep up have persuaded some investors that the so-called miracle drugs will not hurt the industry. So apparently they're anticipating that Novo is not going to figure out how to gear up or partners in this, and so they'll continue to struggle to meet the demand. Also, they go on to say that the initial market reaction to the new class of weight loss drugs is reminiscent of early hype over the metaverse, which flamed out. The metaverse and a weight loss drug. I'm sorry, somebody help me understand what the connection here is. Metaverse was very much for a subset of individuals. I belong to that group. That's why I can tell you that you need to be fairly vast. You need to have be middle income. You need to be fairly vassal in computers. You need to be willing to play around with the computers to figure out how to get things to work. And you need to have other individuals that you're playing with that will use the metaverse. So I'm not seeing the correlation, because here we're seeing what percentage of Americans are suffering from overweight and obesity? Yeah. So I'm not sure quite what Arda Ural of American Industry Markets is saying here. Don't see that correlation, but I'm probably missing something. Help me out. Tell me what I'm missing in the below. The problem is that lower socioeconomic groups have more obesity and risk factors, but the cost of taking these medication is, here's what we're really seeing. The correlation to the meta is not that important. However, the correlation to being able to afford these drugs, these medications, might be. And so later on, I'm going to be looking at some policy, because this is where individuals should be lobbying, if they believe this is something they're interested in, but should be listening to seeing, not we should be lobbying, but we should be seeing what the lobbying groups are doing. For instance, I'm sure this would never happen in a food group, so I'm sure this wouldn't happen. But, would they lobby Congress and insurance companies not to cover the cost of these medications? I'm sure they wouldn't do that, but, I'd like to see if, why insurance companies may or may not cover it, since if you look at the costs, if you have significant weight loss, I think over the long run, your medical bills may be lower. Let's take a look at that in our economic factors down the road. Right now, that's just my speculation. All right, so the stock market impact, some food manufacturers, they were trembling. Okay, so some of them were trembling. I don't know if it's a fad. The companies most at risk could be those dedicated exclusively to junk food, or restaurant chains that don't offer much in the way of alternatives. So remember that this may or may not betray a lack of understanding of what these appetite suppressant drugs do, or medications do. It's not that you can't eat junk food, you're just going to want to eat less. So I'm not quite sure, again, having trouble making that connection. Brian Frank, portfolio manager of the Frank Value Fund, which has positions in Tyson's Food and Dorados and McDonald's franchisee, said he will look to build stakes in stocks that take a Wegovy-related hit. So Mr. Frank here is actually thinking that there are going to be stocks to take a hit. He's going to wait for them to go down, and then he's going to buy them. That's at least how I interpret that. So we have a kind of two different things going on here. It's not going down. It'll go down a little, come back up. But this is another perspective. If the market is going to give me a discount, I'll take it. The uptake in appetite-suppressing drugs seems to be a U.S.-led dynamic, said Mr. My New Engine, research analyst at Legal General Investment Management America. Elsewhere, trends such as wealthier, more mobile middle classes in emerging countries can support shifts towards snacking and convenience foods. Okay. All right. Portfolio manager in Germany's Union Investment, which has stakes in Unilever and Coca-Cola, was a little more cautious, saying the perception that weight loss drugs may be bad for the industry will be hard to break. So he's thinking this is just a perception. Nothing to see here. It'll pass. Everybody assumes people will take these pills, get slim, and eat less. And companies cannot prove that this is not true. No, didn't Walmart already say people taking these drugs are eating less? Not sure they said they're getting slim, but they're eating less. But maybe what he's saying is it's a fraction of the people who actually take it. Anyway, I thought this was a great article, made me realize that, heck, if you were a food company, maybe you would do Wegovy sprinkled chips. So yeah, so you'd go away from the can't eat just one to, you can eat just 20, but you want these because, it'll help you with the other stuff. I don't know. I'm just being silly now. Remember, this is just my opinion. It's not advice. I don't know anything about economics, although I can tell usually when somebody is not telling me a logical story. Anyway, I love this story. I hope you did too. Looking forward to your comments, and stay tuned for the next one where we're going to talk about the same impact or similar impact on other obesity related industries. See you then. Bye, everyone.